Hi, welcome to the halftime huddle. A little bit late today. So it's not quite halftime, it's not quite our lunchtime, but generally these things run on the hump day, which is Wednesday midweek. So it's halftime through the working week. Occasionally they'll run on Wednesday, Thursday, which is halftime through the full week. These are the opportunities for you to spend a little bit of time refocusing. It's like the halftime in a football match where you sit there and chew over what happened in the first half, eat your orange segment, and get ready for the second half. And this is a little bit of today is to think about some things that might help you through the second half, some things that might help you keep you focused. We've talked about all kinds of weird stuff here, so and I'd love your input. So welcome to the halftime huddle. If you're here live, say hi. If you're watching on replay, say hashtag replay and say hi too. I'd love to hear who's watching and when they're watching. As I said in the little pre-stuff, we're going to talk today a little bit about procrastination, or essentially a little tool that I use to break procrastination. So I will run through how I use it and what I do it for and how it seems to work. And I'd love for you to, if you do try it, then let me know. Does it work for you? Is it something that you could use? Are there any modifications you have tried? If you do try it, any things that you think you might want to try differently, so do let me know, because obviously these little tools can get improved by people just playing with them and doing things with them. So this is my little procrastination buster little tool. Basically, it starts with the idea that, most times we procrastinate because the thing we're doing or we don't want to do or trying to avoid doing is either hard, is either painful, is either awkward, something we don't want to do. But generally, it's a big chunk of stuff. And the last thing we want to do is divert some of our, fun time to something that's big and unwieldy. And after a while, it becomes more and more unwieldy, and we just don't know where to start. So some of you may have heard, and I think I might have even mentioned it sometimes in previous lives, about the Pomodoro technique, which is a way of keeping focus for a certain amount of time. If you get distracted, or you get, which is another symptom, I suppose, of procrastination, is to get distracted with other kind of things, is to get some limited focus, turn off some distractions, turn off notifications on your phone, get rid of your browser, do the things you want to do, and spend like something like 20-25 minutes focused time on a particular activity. Take a break after the 25 minutes for another 5 minutes to just to take your breath, have a little bit of have a cup of coffee, walk around, do some other kind of things, get your brain straight, and then do another 20 to 25 minutes chunk around that, and that way you can get some focused time on what you're doing. But often, even though we know we should do that, and I know it's probably good for some of the things we've been putting off, to spend that kind of focused time on it. If it's something you don't want to do you want to do 20 to 25 minutes of it? So this is like a little mini take on the Pomodoro type sort of process, but a little bit something that allows you to take little smaller bite sizes. It came out of a book I read. Now I've been hunting down sort of the book. It's quite an old book, and it's not a common book I can find, but I will see if I can hunt it down and see if I can copy it. It's in one of my boxes of books somewhere, so I will hunt this down, where this originally came from. But it's this is my little take on the process. So the first thing to do with this, and I will move now to show some of the things. Go back. Let's go back to there. A little bit of technical problem. Start again. Yes, that works. That's my iPad. So ultimately, first things first is, if you've got and often if we're procrastinating a couple of things. So write down some of the list of the things that you've been procrastinating on. So for instance, for me at the moment, I am procrastinating over writing a blog post. So let's have a look and see if I can do that. Here we go. Give us a second. I might have to go back. Here we go, technical problems. So give me a second while I get the pen working. Go back. Okay, technology is not working. Okay, So we will avoid what I'm talking about, the procrastination. So here we go. First things first, I wanted to show a little bit of how I do it on a piece of paper or the iPad, but ultimately write a list of the things you're doing. So for instance, I have, I'm writing a blog post. My office needs a little bit of a tidy. I need to sort some things out. I've been putting off doing some work in the garden. There's a number of things like that. So for instance, write them down. I'm sorting my emails out, getting rid of some of the emails I needed to do. So I'd write a list of blog posts. I'd write a list of sort out my office, and then I would write down, bring my email down to 0, and then I would write down something like mow the lawn, clean the garden. So there's a couple of things mixed. So stuff that I've been putting off. So and here's where the trick is to use a Pomodoro type method, but in a slightly different way. So if we've got a challenge that we're putting off, spending 20 minutes on it is probably a bit of a no-brainer. We don't think we can do that. If it's been something you've been putting off for ages, sitting down, concentrating on 20 minutes on it is just gonna be a little bit tougher than you may think. So, but maybe you can put 5 minutes to it. Maybe you can do 5 minutes of just making a plan, picking up some. So if you're doing a sort of tidy a certain area, sort out some small little pieces and slowly work your way out. So maybe start off with 5 minutes. So the little trick, and let's see whether this is working yet. No, it's not. Bear with me while I get this. Okay. Technology. Anyhow, so essentially you'd write down the list. And at the first list of the thing you would do, you would get a timer up, 5 minutes. So you'd spend 5 minutes on your project, which is writing the blog. So what are the first 5 minutes things you can do? Maybe it's write a list of the topics you might want to write. Maybe it's writing some small notes on the sort of topic area you might want to do. Do your 5 minutes and then move on to the next thing. I know there's a context switching sort of price you will have to pay when you're doing these 5 minute small chunks, but the aim of this is not necessarily to do things in the most efficient sort of way. The aim of these things is to break the impasse that you've been sort of sitting under of doing something you don't want to do. So once you've started something, it's a little bit easier to carry on the next stuff. So you do your 5 minutes of the first task, tick it off. If you have finished the task, then that's fine. If it's something that was a small that you've been putting off and 5 minutes is enough to crack on and finish that task, then fine, then that task is crossed off and you don't need to do it again. If not, you put down a little marker to say you're going to increase it a little bit by 10 minutes. So the first thing to do is to do your 5 minutes. Finished, if it's finished, if it's finished, deal with it. If it's not finished, put down a 10-minute marker. And get on with it. Get on with the next piece on the task. So for instance, in my list, it was to tidy my office a little bit. So at the end of the 5 minutes, I will put things down, move on to the next task, which is tidying the office. So I will find a little 5 minute chunk of time I can do to say sort a small area of my office, do 5 minutes on that. Again, if it's finished, if you're lucky enough that 5 minutes is enough time to sort out your office, then you can stop. If not, put another 10-minute mark down to say you're going to do 10 minutes in the next round. Then you move on to the next one. So the next one is maybe to sort out my email list down to 0. So I would open my email, do 5 minutes of looking into emails, either answering them, clearing them, deleting them, getting them down to 0. At the end of the 5 minutes, we'll move on to the next thing, which in my instance maybe be something like sort the garden. So in the 5 minutes, I will go outside, pick up some stuff, tidy some stuff, move some stuff around, maybe get the lawnmower out, do what I need to do the next sort of stage. After I've done my, say for instance, these are 4 tasks. It could be a little bit longer. After you've done my tasks, the last item on your list is 5 minutes. It's a bit of a break because you need that break. You need that refreshing. I know you're doing small little tasks, but take 5 minutes to go and have a cup of coffee, 5 minutes to have a drink, 5 minutes to read a book, do something that gives you a little bit of a break. and then you're on to the next round. So we've done this list. The next round through this would be again back onto my blog post. This time I will do 10 minutes of getting down to the blog post. I will, if I've made a plan, I'll maybe then start to open up an editor and start writing some notes. Maybe some, the first draft of it, get to the 10 minutes. If I've finished, then fine, I don't need to do any more. If it took me 10 minutes to do. If not, the next chunk is a 15-minute chunk. So I will mark in 15 in the column that for the next round of this process, and then I will move on to the next thing, which is my in my little list it was be tidy my study. So I'll do 10 minutes of looking after and tidying my study. At the end of the 10 minutes, if it's done, finished, I'll move on. If it's not done, put down 15 minutes to do 15 minutes the next time I go around this, and on until you go through your finish your list. Have you another 5-minute break, because that doesn't change. It's a 5-minute break. So Pomodoro is a 20, 25, and then a 5-minute break to give you a 30-minute chunk. And it's the same sort of thing for this. You do your work item, take a 5-minute break. So at the end of your round of this, you'd have done, say in my list, there's 4 things on my list. I'd have done 4 10-minute chunks. I'd have done 40 minutes working on my item. I'll take a 5-minute break. I will go for a little bit of a walk. I'll have a glass of water. I will do what I need to do to just get away and take a break. And then I'll run through the next list, and then I'll be on 15 minutes. So here we are writing a blog post, 15 minutes. I'll either continue with where I left off and carry on. And you do that until you get to, the next chunk after the 15 minutes. If you finished after the 15 minutes, no longer. If you go to the 20 minutes, then you're in the 20 minutes. So essentially you will do that for one day. And at the end of that day, you will find that you've broken the back. You've started to break the impasse on writing the blog. I'd have done probably something like half an hour to an hour's worth of work on it that I wouldn't have done if I'd had to do it in one concerted effort. Same thing with my office. I'd have done 5-10 minutes, half an hour to an hour on working on my tidying my study or my stuff, and all of the things that I've been putting off for so long. I'd have done a concerted piece of effort on it. So the next time it's no longer one of those daunting things that I don't know where to start. I would have made a list. At the end of the day, I can then sort of think about scheduling at a proper time, maybe doing a proper Pomodoro process on them, because essentially I've broken the back. And that's a tool that I don't use that often, but I've been finding myself sort of putting things off for a while, and I really need to sit down and get some stuff done. And really break the back of this impasse that I've had on certain tasks. I will do this for a morning or for an afternoon, or even for a full day if I think I can get it done for a full day. And I've got no meetings or nothing else that will distract me from this. And at the end of that, you will find that you've done quite a bit of time and you've broken the back of that task. I will. Because essentially I've done a lot of talking here and you can't really see what it looks like, what I'll do is in the comments of this, I'll do a little bit of an indication of the sort of thing you might see in terms of your things. So do on a scrap piece of paper or any kind of piece of paper you want. Write down a list of the things you want to stop your procrastination on. Start off with a round of 5 minutes plus a 5-minute break. And then start the next ring is a round of 10 minutes plus a 5-minute break, and then the next one is a 15-minute round plus a 5-minute break, and and then a 20-minute plus a 5-minute break. At the end of that, you've probably done quite a bit of work on the stuff you wanted to do. You've probably spent either a full morning working on the stuff you've done, or maybe depending on what other things are going on, if you had a lunch break, whatever, you might have done a full day. So. Like I said, this is just a simple thing I got from a book a while back. So if you're finding yourself spending a bit of time just putting a lot of stuff off, you don't think you've tried setting aside a 20 minutes or a half an hour or whatever kind of concerted block to focus in up, but it's still not breaking the back of that. You're still sitting there doing doing searching through the internet, reading your emails when you should be doing the work you were doing. Then try this method. I'd love to hear for you if you're going to try this and see what you can do to to give me some impact on sort of some feedback rather on how it worked for you, whether there are things you wanted to change, and let me know, because like I said, it's something I don't do that often. I do it when I get to the stage where I've been putting stuff off for a long time. I really need to break the back of it, and I know that doing this is quite easily. It's quite structured. Away you go. It's you surprisingly, once you've started something, the momentum that you've built up by doing, say, 2 or 3 rounds of this means that the thing that would seem daunting is no longer so daunting, because you've broken the back a little bit. So that's just a little tip. Please let me know if you find this useful. I will put some images in the comments to show the sort of things you might see with this, and hopefully you can have a go. Let me know how it goes. And hopefully it will help you break some of these things you've been putting off, and make your second half the best half. So with that in mind, I'd like to say I'll see you next week, and have a great second half. Now that I come back to the end of this, my pad's working, the pen's working, but I'm not going to go back. We've done that. I'll put either a tiny little quick little video or a couple of images just to show you, because there's a lot of talking and some people like to see how it works. As I say in the end of this is my tribute to the Marvel end of credit little things of telegraphing what's coming off next, but I use it more for asking for feedback. Please let me know if you want more of these little tips. Please let me know if you want for me to interview and to bring some people into chat about how they make their second half the best half. Please let me know if there are any topics that you'd like to talk about, any challenges you have during the week that we'd like to discuss. If you'd like to come on and chat about that, please let me know, because I want to make these halftime huddles as useful to you guys as possible. And the only way I can find out whether they're useful is to get some feedback from you. So please let me know, and I will speak to you again next week, and hopefully if you've got anything you procrastinate against, you can use this video to break that impasse and have fun the second half. So have a great second half, and I will speak to you next week.